Hi guys, welcome to episode 12 of Blah Blah Blah. Now this one's going to be based on games that have a lot of sentimental value to me that I could never get rid of, no matter what. You could offer me hundreds of dollars for each of these individual games, I would not accept them. People can say, oh, if somebody offered you $1,000,000, you'll take that. Nobody's going to offer me $1,000,000 for any of these games, so that's out of the equation. For me, these games have history behind them, stories behind them, and that is what sentimental value is to me with video games. If you can tell a story about each and every one in your collection, and these ones really do. And you probably heard me talk about these before, and I'll briefly talk about them again, including some of the ones I haven't talked about before. But for me, sentimental value has to start with Wonder Boy 3: The Dragon's Trap, mainly because it was the very first game that I bought, played, and it was my good mate of mine who introduced me to this game. We were always massive fans of the Wonder Boy games in the arcade, and that's the way it had always been. But with the home console, the Sega Master System, I was kind of interested in it, but I didn't really think of it until my mate bought one. He got this game, he called me over, and that was it. I was hooked on it straight away. And that's why this game has been in this collection for over 30 years, because even though with the Master System and these other systems I have traded in and got rid of the systems and games, I just could never bring myself to selling this one off because of that reason. The sentimental value of this outweighs any monetary value. I mean, I don't know how much this is on eBay or worth, but to me, it's one of those games I just couldn't get rid of. And the same could be said for Phantasy Star, the first RPG I ever played. I invested so much time into Phantasy Star, it consumed my life for a number of months, and that was okay. I didn't mind that, because what I had experienced was something was truly amazing. I never seen that in a video game before, and playing as your main character was a female protagonist was the first time I seen that in gaming, which is unbelievable. So again, you can see this game on eBay at the moment selling for $150 upwards. Sure, I could put this on eBay and make some money, but no way. This is very special to me as well. It's just, it takes me back to a time when I first got into gaming. I was loving it. It was a whole new experience for me, and playing something like this was just, if I could go back in time and replay one game again for the first time, it would be Phantasy Star. There's a great topic for another video, but it would be. It means so much to me, and as did this copy of Bare Knuckle. What can I say? I saw this in a grey import store here in Brisbane. Saw it on the shelf. That was it. Loved it. Took it home. Played it. I was hooked. One of the games I still play to this day is, even though it's not on the Mega Drive, it's on these emulators, and PlayStation 4 I can play this on, Xbox 360 or whatever. It's on everything. But to be able to play this for the very first time, and probably the first beat 'em up game that I really did enjoy. I wasn't into beat 'em up games back then. It was more of the RPGs, the platforming games, and while I had played Street Fighter, I really sucked at that. But this one was something I could pick up straight away. It was like a side-scrolling beat 'em up game. It wasn't like in the arenas and stuff like that, so I could appreciate it more. And it didn't have all those crazy special moves, which I could never really do. But great game. And this again, I've had this since 1991 when it was released. I paid probably $100 for this back then, and I don't know what it's worth now. I think these ones have gone up in price, but no matter how much money you offered me, I could never part with that one. It just means so much, as does Nights in the Dreams. Now, when I first saw this game, it was in a game store here in Brisbane. The representative from Sega Aussiesoft was doing his rounds in the Brisbane stores, and he actually had a demo disc with him when I was in the store talking with the salesperson. In rocks the Sega Aussiesoft sales rep, and he tells us he's got a game demo. Do you want to see it? It's called Nights in the Dreams, made by Sonic Team. And we just stood there watching that screen and watching the I think it was the demo gameplay footage, and there was the full motion video in it, and I was just gobsmacked. It just was so colorful and vibrant, and you know, I couldn't play it. I just went home, and that's all I could think about for days and days and days. I couldn't wait for this game to get released, and at that stage I was going to get rid of the Sega Saturn because I wasn't into it as much anymore, but it did reignite my interest in the Saturn. And when I did get it with the 3D controller, oh, it was an amazing game. It was a very short game, but it was something that to this day I still have those memories, and the music still sticks on my head. And if a game can do that, then yeah, it's got a lot of sentimental value to me, as does the original Tomb Raider. Now, I first heard about this in a magazine called Computer and Video Games, which was a UK magazine. I read this 2-page article on this game, Tomb Raider, Lara Croft. I didn't know who or what this was. It did have a bit of a story on it. It showed a lot of photos, and I'm thinking, this looks like Indiana Jones but with a female character. And that's what really sparked my interest, was just hearing that, you know, reading the article. And I'd have to wait another year before this game was released, and I just couldn't wait to get my hands on it. You know, the hype machine was really going with the magazines about it, especially in the UK, because it was a UK made game by Core Design. So I was really hyped for it, and it did not disappoint me. I did get it on the Sega Saturn first. I think they had an exclusive deal here in Australia, I'm not sure, but for some reason we got this before the PlayStation version. But I would play this so much. It was just one of those games, one of those moments in gaming which kind of opened everything up for us. It wasn't like in your 2D world where a game would last, say, 40 minutes. Even this one you can complete in 40 minutes. This thing just went on and on and on, and just was incredible. I love it, love the level designs in it, just everything about it was amazing. And to this day I've had it, and I thought honestly that I had sold it years ago, and going through a box to find both of these games in a box, and I was like, oh my god, I did keep these games, and I was so rapt that I did keep them. Unbelievable. Great game. And to me, the first game is probably one of the best Tomb Raider games ever released. Now, the last game that has a lot of sentimental value to me is actually an Xbox game made by Sega, and that is Jet Set Radio Future. I was a massive fan of Jet Set Radio. I think in America it was called Jet Grind Radio for some reason. I loved that on the Dreamcast, but to me this was a much better game, much open world. There was no timer on it, so you weren't sort of rushing around doing things. You can enjoy this game at your own leisure, and it was an incredible game with an amazing soundtrack. When I did get rid of my original Xbox with the games, I couldn't part with this one. For some reason I just had to keep it, and I still have, and I still want to get an original Xbox back to be able to play this again. So yeah, for whatever reasons I sold off all these other consoles, but these games had so much sentimental value to me that I just couldn't part with any of these games. It was just incredible. And when you look at this, there's nothing from the modern day consoles, you know, from 360, PlayStation 2 upwards. There's nothing in this collection that I felt that I needed to keep for. And I have got rid of a lot of games in the and some of the more modern day systems as well. And for some reason, these older games were the ones that sort of I just couldn't get rid of, for no reason at all. Other than being, you know, sentimental value. First game I ever played, first RPG, the best side-scrolling beat 'em up, amazing game from Sonic Team, Tomb Raider, the Indiana Jones game we had always wanted, and Jet Set Radio Future, an incredible game that was made by, you know, Sega back when they used to make incredible games. And I just wish they would return to this series one day. It would be so great to see this happen. Maybe .emu, Lizard Cube, hey, when you finish Streets of Rage 4, how about working on a Jet Set Radio Future game or something? So yeah, these games have so much sentimental value to me. I could never get rid of them, no matter how much money you offered me. So yeah, what games in your collection have so much sentimental value that you have actually gotten rid of and find yourself recollecting? And that's the premise of, I think, what Lawrence was saying. But for me, I could never get rid of these, no matter what. It's got so much value just in here, not in, you know, the wallet. So that's it for this episode of Blah Blah Blah. Thanks very much for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye.